Hi, I'm sitting here with Tish Owen.
And I'm sitting here with M.R. Sellars.
And what do you both do for a living?
Well,
Do we have to tell that part?
I guess
There's warrants.
there are. Well, you want to go start? You start.
We're writers. We write fiction, mostly about our own selves.
Actually, Tish writes nonfiction about witchcraft, and I write
Fiction.
mostly about myself.
Mostly about yourself.
Actually,
yeah.
I write a fiction series called
You've never
Rowan
killed
Gant-
anybody.
No, not that you know of. I write a fiction series called the Rowan Gant Investigations.
There was that one time back in '04, but we won't talk about it.
No, we shouldn't. No.
Okay.
So, Murv, what prompted you to begin writing the Rowan Gant series?
Nightmares. I have terrible, just god-awful nightmares, and I needed to get them out of my brain so that I could sleep at night. But in reality, what happened was I've always wanted to write, and I started writing the series because I had this burning desire to write something, and I thought, hey, witchcraft, paranormal, detective series, why not? Who was I to know that I was mixing genres? But I did so, and there you go. I wrote a series about a witch who helps solve serial murders.
I'm impressed you can say genre.
I can't say because I can't say it now.
Okay.
And Tish, why did you decide? What prompted you to write Chasing the Rainbow, your first book?
It was Murv's fault.
She's always blaming me for stuff.
Somebody has to. Well, no, actually, lots of people do.
Well,
Yeah. So, I have this festival, and it's called the Pagan Unity Festival. And about the 5th or 6th year of it, I was told by people that that we did a really good job, and that we took care of our VIPs well, and we fed people really well, and we were organized. Who knew?
I write fiction.
Well, dude,
I told people that.
That's how this happened. And so I was not coerced. I was inspired to write a book.
We'll call it that.
Yeah, that sounds good, doesn't it? You write fiction. I was inspired to write a book about running a festival so that other people who want to run festivals would have a good handbook. They wouldn't have to invent the wheel from scratch, and they could take the book and they could learn how to do it and do it well. Sounds a little egotistical, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Well,
this is you we're
stand
talking
by
about.
it. Exactly, yes, so that they could learn how to do it correctly.
And how was your book well received?
Apparently so. I've gotten some money on it. That was that one guy in Texas that sent me 5 cents in the mail. Quarters taped to that piece of paper. Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
No. Apparently it has been, and I understand that there are people who run festivals who actually use the book as a handbook.
That's excellent. And what about your second book?
My second book is a spell book, and it's called Spell It Correctly. And so sometimes people think that it's a book about spelling.
Yes, it isn't. That's what I was using
I
it for.
thought you read it.
I use it to correct my spelling when I write my books.
That's really cool. I like that.
Okay, I thought that's what it was for.
That's good. Okay, I'm going to use your books to run a coven.
Okay.
Anyway, it's a book about spells, how to do them well, how to not blow your feet off in the process, how to keep your karma clean when you're doing spells. And was it well received? I'm sorry, that was the question. Wait, I got an itch.
No, that was the other question.
What?
But so when you're talking about spells, you're talking about witchcraft.
Yes.
Spellcraft.
Spellcraft, yes.
Rituals. Okay. So I'm going to back up a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Don't hurt yourself.
I'll try not to. So Murv, what was the inspiration for your characters?
For my characters?
Did you base them off of yourself, off of family?
God, I hope not.
Well, you know, anytime a fiction author writes a character, they're going to put some of themselves into the character, but they also will draw from those people around them because, you know, the old idea of writing what you know. You grab experiences from people around you and you use their personalities. Essentially, you know, some of Tish actually is in some of my characters. you know, some of me, some of my father. You know, the only character that I can really say that I really didn't base on anyone in particular individual would be the redheaded serial killer from the Miranda series. She, you know, runs around in black leather and kills people and stuff like that. And
That's what serial killers do, honey.
well, that's what they do. Yes, I mean, she's, you know, her name's Miranda. She's an entire fabrication, doesn't exist. I didn't have anybody to base her on at all.
Except for that woman down the street back at 05.
Well, that we don't talk
the
about
bodies were in
that.
the
We
freezer. Yeah.
don't talk about
Will you
that.
edit that out, please? Okay.
And so
Welcome.
the experiences that your characters go through, the things that happen to them, are you drawing on real things that have happened in your life, or is it mostly made up?
Well, except for the incident in '05 that we don't talk about, there have actually been no serial killings in my life. But certainly there are instances in my life that end up in the books. One of the characters at one time had a miscarriage. And my wife and I went through, you know, I didn't have the miscarriage, she did. But I wrote that experience in the books. The murders that happen are really an amalgam of things that I see on the TV, on the news on a daily basis, and my own warped imagination. And I can, come up with stuff like that. So there are real experiences that end up in the books to make the characters feel real, and or even be real. I was having a discussion with someone the other day about hanging out in airports, because I travel a lot and I get stuck in airports, and I sit back and watch people and watch what they do, and that's an experience for me. It's a study in human nature, and I use those things to put into the books.
He has really good eyelashes.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Do you ever have a problem with people confusing what you write as being reality, or thinking that, you know, you're actually writing about your life, that you're the Rowan Gant character?
I have been called Rowan Gant on a number of occasions, actually. In fact, somebody did a newspaper article where they interviewed me, and they started off with, well, M.R. Sellars, author of the Rowan Gant investigations, blah, 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 in the first paragraph, and all of the subsequent paragraphs I was referred to as Rowan Gant. That was a rather interesting article. But
You feel schizophrenic?
that made me feel a little funny, yes. But I do have occasions where I have some fans who get a little involved with the characters, and they think they're real people. And sometimes they think I'm Rowan, and I've had occasions when folks have become very attached to me and think that I go out and solve these murders, and think that these murders actually have happened and such, and it's a little frightening at times.
So, and how do you deal with that? What do you do when you have a situation like that? What do you do to kind of neutralize that?
Scream really loud and run the other direction. Well,
How's that working for you?
not very well.
Okay.
I actually tried that once. I usually try to explain to the people that I am writing fiction, and try to give them the definition of what fiction is. You know, it's all made up. There are folks, though, who simply refuse to accept that. I mean, it really depends on which kind of person you get. You can get people who really, really believe the stuff happens, and you can get the people who just are really so invested in the characters that they want to believe that they're real. Some of them you can explain it to, some of them you can't. I just try to be calm and not make any sudden moves.
Those are words to live by.
They are, especially when dealing with snakes, children, and stalkers.
Hand grenades.
So where do you see the Rowan Gant series going?
Where do I see it going?
Yeah. Ultimately, are you going to continue to write Rowan Gant stories?
I will continue to write the Rowan Gant series until such time as people stop buying them, or my publisher no longer gives me a contract, whichever comes first. Actually, I guess the not having a contract would come first, but
That's how that works.
I will. Yes, it does. I will continue to write them as long as I have ideas and as long as people are enjoying the stories. If they start getting stale, or there's nothing that I can write about, or nobody's interested in them, why continue? It's time to move on to something else. I would, one of the great things about the series, there are currently 10 books, an 11th one coming out next year. The series allows these characters to grow. They have matured, and their values and religious beliefs and such have matured and changed throughout the book, and they've developed. And I would like to see the characters continue to develop on into old age and such, unless they all die in a horrible accident, which you never know can happen with the way my brain works. But
Hotel fire.
A hotel fire, sure. I'd like to see them move forward, and it wouldn't hurt my feelings if there was a movie or a television series or something like that. I mean, that could be a lot of fun.
The last 3 books that were released were basically a trilogy.
Actually, I pulled a Douglas Adams. I wrote a trilogy called the Miranda Trilogy, and it turned into 5 books. There was actually.
Because he can write, but he can't count.
I can't count. Yes, math was not my strong subject. So I was able to write this trilogy and actually bring an end to it, but during the ending of that trilogy, it never fully answered some of the questions. While there was a satisfactory ending, there was still, this bad taste left in your mouth. So it expanded into another 2 books, and it became this quintilogy, so to speak. So we just named it the Miranda Saga.
Is that a word?
I don't know.
Okay. I like it. No, I like it.
I'm a fictional. I can make things up. I can make up a word.
That's good.
Okay. So, but what about you? When are you going to write some fiction? Oh wait, you did.
Yeah, it was called Chasing the Rainbow. That's a work of fiction.
Well, and that brings me to my next question. So you've written 2 instructional books,
Right.
Basically nonfiction.
Handbooks, as it were.
There's hands in this?
Where do you see your writing going next? Is your next book going to be another instructional, or are we going to do some fiction?
I have 2.
What's on the horizon?
I have 4 ideas.
Just 4?
Just only 4 today.
That's all.
But it's Sunday. It's a day of rest.
There's not much more room in there.
Probably not.
Okay.
It's very true.
Just checking.
So I have a fiction idea, and I have a children's series idea, and I also I'd like to do another spell book, but I also want to do a book on rituals to help you grow your self-esteem for women. It's for empowerment. So I've been thinking about that a lot. But I also have people that come to me and say, I really like your spell book, but it takes 3 days to do a spell. Yeah. Well, I want something I can do on my lunch hour in my car. Okay, let me think about that for a minute. So
you're thinking about doing something a little bit more pragmatic?
That's
Or
a good word.
That's a pretty good word, yeah. Practical magic. Wait a minute, that's been done.
I like that though.
That's,
We could do Midnight Margarita anyway.
Oh, yes, right here.
Okay.
Right there, you get some.
Sarah, I'm really glad you wrote this on your
Yes, I did. Okay. So what you could do is you could spell it correctly and make Cliff's notes for it.
That's a good idea. Okay. We can call it Spell It in an Emergency.
Spell it in an emergency.
There you go. So there you have it.
Be like a pocket dictionary.
My fiction's a murder mystery too.
Who
But
dies?
it's not like him. I'm not telling you.
Me, huh?
Damn it. Who told him? Who told him? Okay.
So, what about you, Murv? Any chance of there being a different series or a different type of book? Ever think about doing children's books?
Good God, no. Are you insane?
If I did children's books, they would probably lock me up because I'd be scaring the children.
Run and hide.
You don't take a guy who's a member of the Horror Writers Association and ask him to write children's books. It's just a bad idea, I think. But
what about the Goosebumps?
well, the Goosebumps. Well, we're talking mega Goosebumps at my end. But I really hadn't thought of a children's series. I have considered a couple of ideas. I'm glad you're happy.
It's a clam.
I've actually, we won't go there. I have actually thought about a couple of other series that I'd like to expand on and, maybe write. I thought about maybe branching off from the Rowan Gant investigations with kind of like a sub-series about, the individual characters. And I thought about just some completely, mainstream or other type of paranormal series that doesn't even have those characters. Recently, I wrote actually it was a Rowan Gant book, or not a book, but a novelette that ended up in an anthology from Porting Morpheus.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a one-off. Had the characters, but it was outside their universe. It was set in somebody else's time and space. But that was a lot of fun to do. So it was allowed me to diverge from things.
So, but nothing on the immediate horizon of.
On the
of
immediate horizon is really just getting this next Rowan Gant book out, and then I've got a whole stack of notes, and I could just go crazy. Well, not that I'm not already.
So the next book that's coming out, because Miranda was just released.
Miranda was just released in July, so the next book that comes out is next year during summer, 2011, will be another Rowan Gant book. I'm not going to give anything away about it yet because it's kind of a change of pace for the characters. It's going to be a big surprise. But
So not even a little hint.
little hint, people die. Okay.
Oh my gosh, that's so surprising.
One of the things I have considered was writing some erotica.
He's touching me.
Well, it's funny that you should mention that.
You have okay.
It's always fun.
One of the things that I had heard was that with the Miranda trilogy, because there is a little bit of the B&D.
There's the BDSM element because the killer Miranda is a dominatrix.
Right. And
Hence the black leather and stuff.
Some of your fans seem to not be real terribly pleased with that.
Yes,
which I'm not all of them, but I mean there were
a handful, a small handful of fans who were fans through the first 5 books in the series expressed some discontent with the fact that I included that in the books. Not that it was detailed or that the books were about that subject. It's just it was a characteristic of the killer. Quite honestly, you can't please everyone. You can't. I learned that early on, and I have to write what I enjoy writing, and I go where the story takes me and where I have fun writing it. And sure, I'm going to lose a fan every now and then. It happens to the best of us, but I gain fans as well. I gained an enormous number of fans when Miranda was introduced because they liked that aspect of the books, and where the first 5 books I didn't really. The sex was. Another author had once told me that the sex in my books was like the old 1940s pan, where the man and the woman are about to embrace, and the camera in the black and white movie pans to the floor. And all you see is their shoes next to the bed or something. Because I never would get into it. It was just an aspect that was in the books, but it didn't get into the details. Whereas with the Miranda trilogy, while I didn't get into heavy details, it was alluded to more, and it was somewhat deviant because of the nature of the killer. So, hey, it's fun. I write what's fun. It's fun for me. I write what I like to read. Apparently some other people out there like to read it because the books do sell. But, I don't harbor any illusions that what I write is for everyone.
She fell asleep.
Okay. Well, we can't wait to see what the next book is going to be.
Neither can I.
Look forward to that.
I'm really looking forward to finding out what it does. Yes.
So, Tish, do you want to tell us a little bit about what fiction you might have coming, or is that a really guarded secret?
I think it should be a secret.
Ancient
People
Chinese
die
secret?
in it.
People die in it.
Ancient Chinese secret. People die in it, but it's not.
So it's a murder mystery.
It is
then.
a murder mystery
And
because people die in it, and
is
nobody
it a
knows.
mystery how they die? Or a mystery
No,
who
it's
kills
pretty
them?
straightforward.
Pretty
It's a mystery who kills them.
Okay. So it's not you doing the killing.
No, because the body would never be found if it was me.
Oh, there you go.
who would be.
So we've ruled one person out already.
That's
See,
true. It
it's
wasn't-
not that
wasn't
big
me.
of a mystery.
Thank you for doing my job for me.
I try.
It's very accommodating.
Well, let's talk a little bit about spell it correctly.
Okay.
Was everything spelled correctly and spelled
It was because I had spell checking. Thank
Okay.
God for it.
How's the response been to spell it correctly?
I think the response has been good. I have a shop, so I sell it out of my shop, and I can't keep it on my shelves. Everywhere that I've gone, people have been very interested in the book because I've done some book stores. How to say that? I've made appearances at bookstores.
I was going to say, if you were doing bookstores, that could be an issue.
I'm ambitious,
Okay, right on.
and so I've gotten good email about it from people saying that they liked it. I've gotten a check or two from the publisher, which is good. So that means it's selling.
Wait, we have the same publisher. You get paid?
So what is,
But I've got people that email me and call me or whatever, and they're buying them from Amazon or whatever. My copy just got here today. So people seem very excited about it. I've gotten a very good feedback from people that have either called me, emailed me, or actually come in the store and said, I did the one on page 72 and it was really good and it worked really good, and thank you for writing it. And so
so the spells work.
spells work. Of course they do. That's what the book's supposed to be about, is that here's spells and they work.
Why did you decide to write it to begin with? What was the inspiration for
My
spell it
my
correctly?
customers, because I've been in the business for about almost 19 years, and people have asked me to write spells.
But aren't there lots of books on?
There are lots of books.
on spells, and what makes
I liked mine better.
what makes yours better? Why is your spell book better?
I don't know that it's better. I think that it's good because there's very detailed instructions in it. It's almost impossible to screw it up. Everything that you need to use is listed, and complete instructions like a cookbook, if the joy of cooking or whatever, and everything that you need to do is there. It is. It's all lined out. Here's all the ingredients. Here's what you need to do. There's no guesswork. It takes the guesswork out of doing spells. And because a lot of people who are not accustomed to or maybe comfortable with doing spells are nervous about, are they doing it right? Are they getting it right? Did they do it too quick? Did they do it too slow? Did they use everything? And so they're nervous about it. This takes some of the nerves out of the process.
Okay. So, any plans to maybe launch a product line to go with Spell It Correctly?
Well, we've been doing, again in the store, I've had spells in nice little boxes, and candles and oils and all the things that we've always made, that we've made ever since day one. And so those products are available, and I sell that off my website, where you can say there's a little drop down menu and everything, where you can say I want one for love, and we put all the stuff in the components and put it in the mail and send it to you.
So isn't it kind of like looking for love in all the wrong places?
Not if they're looking at it with me, because I will help them get love.
You will. So we should all call you Madam Tish.
I take numbers off bathroom walls, man.
Brings up an interesting point.
But it does.
A lot of I've always heard bad things about doing love spells. That forcing your will on someone else is a bad thing. How does your book deal with that?
There's a warning in the book, and it says that if you're trying to get someone specific to be in love with you, who isn't really interested in you, that you're taking a hit. You're going to take a hit from karma, and so you want to probably rethink it, and you really don't want to do it. So, but there is a spell in there for love with a specific person, and it says you've been warned. Here's the disclaimer. This will probably backfire on you. You're not going to like it. The results may not be what you hoped for, but there are people that you cannot convince them not to do it. So at least, hopefully, the way I've got it written, it's as karmically neutral as it's possible to be when you're trying to put your will on somebody else. Because, it's never cool.
So why include it at all? I mean, you just feel that...
Because people are going to do it, and I'd rather them do it correctly. Hence the name, spell it correctly.
Really? Okay.
What about...
Yeah, you didn't get that at all, did you?
I didn't get that. This first time I've...
God bless him.
What did you do?
I think something creaked in here. I put on a couple of pounds, okay? Don't rub it in.
Okay. Go on.
So, what about other types of spells? Do you have
And-
spells to do bad things to people?
No. I have spells to make people stop doing bad things to you.
Well, that's always
It
helpful.
always is good. There's spells for money, and there's spells for clarity. There's spells for new jobs. There's spells for a new house. There's spells for blessing the house once you get it.
So wait, there's spells for money? So you do evil stuff because money's the root of all evil.
Who have you been talking to?
Richard Castle.
Okay, well, let's stop it right now.
Okay.
I told you about him.
I know.
Okay. He's ruggedly handsome, though.
He is ruggedly handsome. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much for interviewing us.
Thank you for having me, for letting me interview you.
Anytime. Would you like to do this again?
Certainly.
Okay.
All right, it's a date.
Everybody gets a
Everybody
date but
gets
me.
a date but you.
There you
What can
go.
we do?